This is Second Peter 3:13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. I like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shabab Mawan back at you with another lesson. And what I want to get into is speaking a little bit of the kingdom, all right? Because I got the inspiration. I was watching TV while I was eating before, and I was watching I forgot Australia's deadliest animals. It was crazy, but the part that I was watching when I had picked up on it, it was just showing like all the things of the sea, the deadliest animals in the sea. But at the same time, it sounds like it was some, gory shit, but it wasn't, because it was actually beautiful just watching how Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, has created his animals, all right, to do what they are, made to do at the end of the day. And in the midst of it, just because it was, Australia's deadliest animals, all right, it had a lot of beauty to it because, especially the world of the fishes, man, the world of the sea, the way everything is on the bottom is just so beautiful. And even in a place like this, where, everything's polluted, all right, you can still see the beauty that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah has, and it really got me to think about the kingdom, like, and the one thing I was thinking the most was just like, damn, man, when we in the kingdom, you're going to be able to literally be in that water, underneath that water, underwater, swimming with the different types of species that the Lord has created, and us having, angelic powers and all that. We're going to be able to actually go on the water and be under there for as long as we want to explore the things that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai has in store for us, and that was just me looking at the world of the sea, looking at the underwater fishes and, their little life and world, and it just had me thinking about the kingdom from there on, so that's what pretty much gave me the inspiration to end up going into this lesson. All right. So again, I'm going to read 2 Peter 3:13. It says, nevertheless, as a matter of fact, let me take it up a little bit. It says, see, I'll take it from 11. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Yeah, because, this chapter is speaking about, the great day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, when he destroys this place with thermonuclear missiles. And, the heavens is going to pass away with a great noise and the elements are going to melt. Everything's going to be reset at the end of the day. Okay, so, it just, we can't wait for this place to be destroyed, man, so we can enter into that kingdom, so we can really truly enter into rest. Okay, so it says, being and knowing that these things going to be dissolved, what manner are you to be in? You're supposed to be in no holy conversation, constantly speaking about these scriptures, preparing your mind, to be in that place of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, where there's true rest and where there dwelleth in righteousness. Okay, having, the new heavens and the new earth. All right, because the Lord's going to destroy this old place, man. This place got to go already, man. We need to be put in a new heaven and a new earth so we can have true righteousness established upon the earth. All right, because this place just ain't cutting it no more, man. And it's crazy, and it's a shame how we can still find, beauty in such a dark place, Like I said, as I'm watching this on TV, man, here it is, Esau's polluting the waters and all that, but under that water, there's still beauty there, to see how these things are created. It can only make you think about what more does, how much greater things the Lord has in store for us, not just under the sea, but, here on earth. Okay. And the earth is crying itself, okay, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi to come and destroy this place so it can all be resetted and it could flourish, the way it's supposed to. Okay. And nourish us, with everything it really needs to, for us to really enjoy righteousness, because we've been surrounded around so much wickedness. Okay. So again, it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, because this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi has promised us, man, that we were going to have this kingdom, and that's why we look forward to it even more, because it's a promise that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi has given us, and he is not one to take back his promises. You see, he's going to give you a promise and he's not going to lie about that. Okay, so that promise is coming. It's just that we have to have what? Patience, which patience means suffering. All right. And in order for us to receive that kingdom, all right, we have to suffer. All right. As the scriptures say, through much tribulation, you shall enter into the kingdom, through much sufferings. All right. You are going to gain that great reward for staying true to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi and enduring it to the end. So it says, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. And it's going to be like in the beginning of time, man, when we first had the Garden of Eden, but 144 times better, you see, because when you go into that word, let's go into that real quick. All right. The Garden of Eden. All right. Give me 1 second. It goes into, how everything was luxurious, basically. Okay. That word Eden. Right. The word Eden in the interlinear, okay, goes into, it says pleasure. Okay.
Strong's H 5731.
Aden, right?
Eden.
It says, let me see actually before I go on. Yeah. Beautiful. So it says Eden equals pleasure. You see, and that's what we had. We had, the earth was in great pleasure in that time of the Garden of Eden, and that's what we're gonna have. You see, it's gonna be. As a matter of fact, the Lord said it is good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That's already a spiritual thing. You see, which I'll grab that scripture in a little bit. All right, but Eden equals pleasure. Okay. So when you go into that word Eden, all right, the word etymology, the root word of that, okay, is basically
Strong's
the
H
same thing.
5730.
Aden. All right. It says luxury, dainty, delight, finery. You see, that's how it was in that time, man. Everything was just so perfect. All right. And now, all right, it was, because of what ended up happening, all right, and us disobeying Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, okay, it was destroyed. It went from being luxurious, filled with dainties and delight and everything being finery, being so fine, it was, ended up being destroyed. All right. But now the Lord is going to give you a new heaven and a new earth, all right, which is going to be, again, 144 times better than it was in the beginning. All right. And can you imagine that? If everything in the beginning was just so perfect, imagine how much more perfect it's going to be in these times, you see? So that's something that we constantly look forward to at the end of the day, man. All right. So matter of fact, let's grab second Ezra's. All right. This is 8 And 52. Okay, it says, matter of fact, 51. It says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise opened. Okay. The tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. You see, and this is why we're doing the works of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because we truly believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, having that true faith. And we know that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai has prepared this place onto us. Okay. And we can, and with all the wickedness in this place, all the darkness, man, we could taste it. We could smell it. You see, we can feel it. You know, it's in the air. All right. It can only make sense because this place is just filled with so much wickedness, abominations, violence, bloodshed. You know what I'm saying? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is a perfect balance, you know. And if he's a perfect balance, it can only mean that what's to come is made with perfection. You see? So it says, for unto you is paradise opened, and the tree of life is planted. The time to come is prepared. Plentiness is made ready. You know, plentiness. Let's see if it goes into a word. Salakia. Plentiness. Definition of plentiness. Right? Plentiness
means having a large or more than adequate supply of something.
Yeah, see,
common word for plentifulness
is having more than enough. You know, we're gonna, and that's why in the kingdom, you're not gonna be, you know, when you think about these things, you're not even gonna be able to fathom what's in the kingdom, man. Because you know the Lord has something prepared for us that we can't even imagine in our mindset. You know what I'm saying? It says the state of being ample or abundant. Okay, it refers to a full supply. That's what we're gonna have, a full supply, an endless supply of things, you know, made in righteousness. All right, for us to explore, you know, for us to receive. All right, for believing in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, a large quantity, you know, everything we have lost on this side, you know, we're going to receive that 100-fold, man, in the kingdom. You know, everything we lost on this side is going to be given back to us plus 100-fold, man. You see, in large quantity. It says, or the quality of having more than enough of something. Okay. Matter of fact, word etymology online, plentiness. All right, let's see what that says. Abundance. I just want to see what it says. Pretty much it's saying the same thing, you know, meaning fullness. Okay. Again, same thing, having, you know, enough. All right. So let's go back to that. All right. Second Ezra 8 and 52. For unto you is paradise opened, the tree of life, okay, is planted, the time to come is prepared, plentiness is made ready, a city is builded. All right. And this is all speaking of the kingdom. All right. And rest is allowed. You know, that's the main thing, man. We're finally going to have true rest. You know, you can't rest out here, man. Even when you get a decent night of sleep, you know, that's not true rest because you got to wake up and you got to go back to the shithole, you know, this shit hell hole that we live in, man. You know, and dealing with the wickedness of this world, you know, constantly being armored up and fighting these demons, you know, these demons of spiritual wickedness in high places, you know, dealing with, you know, the darkness of this world, the elites that rule this world, you know, and then just, you know, trying to maneuver in a society where, you know, you can never get comfortable, you know, and that's why us being in the truth, we can never try to get comfortable here, man. We have to continually always be uncomfortable and always growing, you know, because that growing is what keeps you with your eyes on the prize. You know, that's what keeps you on your toes. Okay. It says, rest is allowed. Yeah. Perfect goodness and wisdom, you know, and that's what's going to be in the kingdom. Perfect wisdom, you know, constantly speaking the wisdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, not having, filthy conversations that, constantly give you that vexation of spirit. You can't have a conversation out. We can't have no conversation down here with these people because, these people not on the same level as us, man. They don't want the things that we want, that we're constantly looking for, man. These people are satisfied in this shithole, and they love waking up every day in this place, man. These people will sit here and literally say, oh, I love life. What is there to love in this life, man? We're at the bottom. We're supposed to be rulers, okay? And here it is that we're at the bottom of society, man. All right. As a matter of fact, the Lord said that we are his peculiar treasure. Okay. And that right there is very heavy, because going into that we're his peculiar treasure. Okay. It shows that that we're his valued property. All right. As a matter of fact, let me grab that. Peculiar treasure, KJV. All right.
In the King James Version,
It says
treasure signifies the people set apart by God. This applies to the Israelites, but also to believers in Christ. As seen
this
in
is
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. It can also mean a special.
Give me 1 second. This is Exodus 19:5. It says, now therefore, if ye obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. You see, above all the people, man. And we know this now. That's why with much wisdom comes much grief, right? And with much, increased knowledge, comes a lot of sorrow, man, because here it is. Now we know who we are and what we're supposed to have, and we ain't got it in this place, man. So we constantly just dream about that day, constantly wanting that to actually take place. All right. And to be his peculiar treasure means to what? It means to be his valued property. See, and then in the kingdom, us being that valued property, we're going to have property that is valued. You know what I'm saying? Everything around us is going to have true value. Here we're nothing. There is no value in us here, man. The only value we have is this word, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the brotherhood, and pretty much us getting the hell up out of here. All right. But as the scriptures tell you, a prophet is not, is not what's the word I'm looking for? The scripture I'm thinking of is not honored, okay, in his own country. So we really don't have no value to the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We do. Which that's the only thing that matters anyway. Okay. And this is what we're doing it for. We're doing it for Yahushai, for Yahushai's sake. Okay. Because we truly believe, but at the end of the day, it feels good to have that true value, So in due time, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to exalt us, man. And he's going to exalt us how? By giving us that true rest, giving us this kingdom, So let's go back to where I was at. All right. As a matter of fact, before I go back to that, let me grab this because it's in my head right now. This is Ecclesiasticus 43 and 32. Okay. There are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. You see that right there brings peace to your mind, man. All right, because there are yet hid greater things than these be. We see miracles every day of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We see the beautiful things that the Lord does for us, man. All right, but even with all that being said and all the things we see, all right, there are yet greater things hid. Okay, and you can only imagine what it is, and we can't even fathom it. All right, because it's gonna be beyond perfection. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. We're gonna be able to explore so much, that we weren't even able to explore here while we were here, because there was no time for it, man, because of the captivity that we're in. That's why when I was watching the TV and looking at that show, it just had me thinking in my thoughts like, damn, yo, it just so, because I'm a person of water. which is spiritual, because I'm from Zebulon, so Zebulon always dwelt around the water, you know. But I have this thing where, like, when I look at my fish tank, it brings peace to me. You know what I'm saying? So when I see shows of like underwater and things like that, it just amazes me, and I can find so much beauty in it, in this wicked ass place. All right. So imagine what the Lord has in store for us when we're able to go, and touch these different planets, when we're able to, go beyond what you thought you can ever go, and not worry about nobody taking away your peace, taking away what you're trying to explore. Here, if you even try to attempt to grow a mind, all right, something's gonna take it away from you. You see, because like the Lord said, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. Okay, this place is polluted and it will destroy you with a sword destruction. So we really want to enter into true rest. And as a matter of fact, let me read that one more time, and I got another scripture that popped up in my head. It says, this is Ecclesiastes 43 and 32. It says, uh, there are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. For the Lord YAHAWAH'S has made all things, and to the godly has he given wisdom. Okay, now let's grab, I believe it's in Hebrews 4. Okay. And this is why we labor, all right, in his word. Okay, let's grab this for Hebrews 4, and I'll just take it from the top. It says, let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of. You see, there goes that promise again, okay, of entering into true rest. You see, Isaiah 40 and 31. Shalom, brother Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Barakatah. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. You see, and that's the main thing, man. We're going to be renewed in the strength of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and we're being renewed every single day, as we're rehearsing the righteous acts. All right, it's like the Lord is constantly giving us, it's like we're rehearsing of us being renewed over and over. And this is why we have to ask Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to renew that spirit daily. Like when you read in Psalms, the 51st chapter, okay, you have to renew your spirit daily. Okay. But see, in the kingdom, it ain't gonna be no renewing your soul and your spirit daily. It's just gonna be renewed completely forever and ever. You see, because it drains your spirit that we have to constantly renew our spirit all the time because of the world that we live in, man. That's why we have to renew our spirit all the time, because you're constantly surrounded around wickedness that destroys. Every time that you get renewed, it's something to try to come and destroy that, man. And that becomes very vexing to the spirit, and it takes a lot of out of us. You see, that's why we can never get that true rest, because there's always something there to make us get back on our toes. And we have to ask Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to renew this whole spirit we got in front of us, man. That's why the creature is subject to vanity. You see, in the kingdom, you're gonna have the law, statutes, and commandments in your inward parts, man. The thought of folly is sin. You're not even gonna have the thought of folly. How beautiful is that? Here it is that we're locked into Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but we always got to be, Satan always creeping in your thoughts, and that gets so tiring after a while, man. That's why it's so hard, and it's so hard to keep yourself on your toes, and it's very vexing, beautiful script though. Okay, so continuing on, all right. Let's take it back from the top. Hebrews 4 and 1. And it says, let us therefore, matter of fact, Salakia, let me turn this car off because I ain't trying to waste gas. And I got to turn this light off because my car will die. All right. It says, let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, nor, Salakia, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Yeah, because without faith, it is impossible to please Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. And we having faith is a gift, as the scriptures tell you, man, a gift of faith to believe that this is to come. It says, for we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and Yahweh did rest the seventh day from all his works. You see, and in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. You see, again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long time, as it is said, today, if we will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day. Okay. But see, this is why he continually spoke about it, man, because we were truly not in our rest at the end of the day. You see, we was only getting, when you had Yahushua, King David, when he ruled and had everybody under subjection, all right, you had, what was it, King Solomon, I believe it was 40 years. We only had a little bit of time of rest, which was just a prelude basically of what we were going to receive. But here it was, look, it was only for a short period of time, and it was taken away from us. You see, that's why we really need that true rest. That's why we need Yahushua to come back. We tasted a little bit of it, but it wasn't enough. Okay. It says, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And this is why we, to the best of our ability, we walk, all right, in the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua as prisoners of hope, hoping that we can actually see that day, and really get to experience that true rest that the Lord has to offer for us. Okay. It says, for he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as Yahweh did from his. Okay. And this is why we work hard, to the best of our ability, man, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai worked hard to create this place for our sakes. And on the seventh day, he rested. Okay. And he wanted us to experience the same thing. And we are the spitting image of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So in order for us to enter to what he has created for us, all right, we have to basically bust our ass on this side and suffer, okay, just like Yahweh Shai did, all right, to enter into that rest. Okay. So it says, and I think that's pretty much the point I wanted on there. It says, I'll finish it up. It says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. Okay. And this is what makes us push harder and harder, you see, because we don't want to fall into that category of unbelief. By you not doing the works of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you make yourself a reprobate, man. Okay, you basically, calling Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai a liar. You don't truly believe. Okay, like the rest of these idiots out here in the world, man, something so precious is given on to them, and they can just push it away like it's nothing, But here it is, these other nations, especially Esau, this damn devil's at straight rest out here. Because he owns everything, man, which the Lord has given him these things. That was the blessings that the Lord had gave him, the fatness of the earth. you know, the blessing of the sword. All right. But, you know, he has his rest in unrighteousness, you know, basically through bloodshed. You know, we are fighting for our rest and total righteousness. Okay. And that's why we're going to be given more than any man can ever imagine, you know. And that's why this devil tries to play the role of the Lord, and he wants to go out there and try to, you know, go past the heavens and go into different planets, which this devil never ever did, you know. But he got his technologies and things like that, trying to touch these different planets because he knows what's coming to us. See, he can only imagine what it's like. We're going to actually live it. We're going to actually touch these different planets. You know, how beautiful is that? You know, let's just say if this wasn't true, why wouldn't that sound like something you would want? You know what I'm saying? Because we already have a mind of exploring things as Israelites, man. You know, so our mind is too powerful just to be in one spot, you know, seeing the same things. You see, to be stagnant in one area, that's what Esau is trying. That's why he wants to tap into our mind so much, because we think out the box and can think way out the box, you know. And he just wants to try to get there, but he can never, because he already lost his birthright. He already lost, you know, repenting unto the Lord, you know. So he tries to play that role of the Lord, you know, to act like he can touch these things, man, and never ever will. You see, you're gonna see it, but you're gonna see it in your captivity. We're gonna see it in freedom, you know, forever and ever, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay, so again, this is why we, you know, we labor to actually get into that rest that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has prepared for us. Okay, so let me grab this. As a matter of fact, let me go back to Second Ezra's. Salaki, if I just started speaking too much, I get excited. All right, this is Salaki, Second Ezra's 8 and back to 52, I believe it was. Yeah, it says, for unto you is paradise opened, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared. And that time is now, man. It's prepared already. All right. This is why the Lord is he has sealed the elect. And this is why total chaos is about to come upon the earth, because the elect is sealed. Okay. And if that time has come for us to, you know, come back to the Lord in true righteousness. Okay. It says, plentiness is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed. Yet perfect goodness and wisdom. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Okay. And that's what we want. As a matter of fact, the scripture that tells you that, let me grab that, I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus 11, and I want to say around the 17th verse. Is it here or is it down more? There you go. This is 25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. You see, and with this prosperity that the Lord is going to give us, the true prosperity. All right, we're gonna forget about all the afflictions that we have went through on this side, man. Matter of fact, that's what it tells you in Romans, the 8th chapter. All right, let me just grab that real quick. My mind going all over the place right now. This is Romans, and I'll get back to that scripture. Okay, Romans 8 and where is it at? I think it's like 30. Romans 18, Salakia. Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. You see? So the sufferings that we're going through, man, ain't nothing to be compared to when the Lord comes back and rewards us with that kingdom. You see, going back to what I just read, all right, in Ecclesiastes 11 and 27, okay, 25. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. You see, we're going to forget about all that. We ain't even going to remember the afflictions we went on this side because the true prosperity is coming. You see, the true righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is going to have us forget about everything we went through. You see, that's why he said in Revelations, which I'll get that also in a little bit, in 21st chapter, all right, that, you know, there will be no more crying, no more tears, no more death. You're going to forget about all of that. You know, these things where we here living on the flesh and this side, man, we see that shit every day, man, and it breaks us down. You see? It says, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. All right. But the first point of that precept is what we really wanted. In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. Okay. For it says, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. For it is an easy thing unto the Lord in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. All right. Which I should have stopped right there anyway. Okay, but let's go back. Okay. Slakia. Back to Second Ezra's 8 and 53. It says, the root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness and moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and the end is and in the end is showed the treasure of immortality, man. You see, the treasure of immortality, you know, to be immortal, to never have to worry about, you know, us being put down, man, for wickedness. Because, you know, that's pretty much why we die. The wages of sin is death. See, so when our mind is back to where it used to be, all right, perfected, all right, in mint condition, okay, we're not going to be sinning. So that's why we're going to be able to live forever and ever. You see, how great does that sound, man? That's why it pisses us off when we see these knuckleheads, these 2/3 out here, that they can't see the vision, you know, because, man, like, anybody should want to wish for that, man, that you don't die forever, that I could live forever, not worry about getting sick, not worrying about crying, not worrying about death. You know, here Esau loves that. He loves to see misery. He loves to see bloodshed. This is why we constantly see it in our faces, you know, whether it be you watching some TV, whether it be you actually seeing it in person. You know, you got to see your own family members, you know, passing away, and people, you know, passing away from pestilences, you know, and evils. Okay. What the hell is so great about that, man? You know, it's like these people love to actually have tears in their eyes, man. I really want to know what is true, what is truly like to have true happiness, man, with a smile on my face every single day of my life, you know, waking up to no worries. You see, it says, continuing on, it says sorrows are past, and in the end is showed the treasure of immortality. All right. And that's pretty much the point. All right. Because then it goes into, you know, it say he told them not to ask any more questions, you know. Let me see what it says going down a little bit. Slakia. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. All right. So let's grab John. This is John 14. Slakia. This is John 14 and 1. It says, Yahawashi comforts his disciples. All right. And this is how we're able to comfort the rest of Yasharallah, the 1/3, the men, women, and children that believe. Okay. It says, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yahweh, believe also in me. Okay. In my Father's house are many mansions. All right. And that goes into us being able to go into these different planets. All right. We're literally going to have different planets. You're going to own different planets because the Lord said, what? Be fruitful and multiply. All right. And the fact that we're not going to be in sin no more and we're not going to perish anymore. All right. We're literally going to be fruitful and multiply. Do you think that we're going to be able to sit in one planet and continually keep multiplying? No, it's impossible. This is why the Lord has prepared these different planets for us. All right. So we can be fruitful and multiply. As a matter of fact, he said that a little one, okay, shall let's grab that real quick. Shall become a nation. A little one shall become a nation, KJV. This is Isaiah 60, all right, which this is actually a beautiful chapter. All right. Let me see what I could grab out of here. In 1 second. I'll take it from 11. Okay, it says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night. Men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. All right. Yeah, because we're gonna have all these, people in subjection, man. And whoever doesn't follow after the ways of righteousness and the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, they're gonna be put down. It says, yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending on to thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. And that's exactly what's going to happen, man. Having all these different nations under subjection, all right, and they're going to have to serve us, man, in captivity, all right. And after 1,000 years of captivity, they're going to go back to their rightful lands, okay, and they're still going to have to serve us because they're going to have to live under the righteousness of Yahweh Shai. You see, the only one that ain't going to be able to be here no more is going to be Esau, because he's going to serve 1,000 years, all right, and then he's going to be eradicated off the face of the earth for his wickedness, man. You see, being used as an example of how you should never be against the true power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You see, it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency. You see, that an eternal excellency, okay, forever, okay, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, am the so let me read that again. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, and the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. You see, we ain't gonna have to worry about none of that no more, man. The sun shall be more light thy light. It's like the sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power, thy glory. The sun, okay, it says, thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for the Lord Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended, and thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. You see, and this is why we're going to be able to go to different planets, man, because a little one's going to turn into a strong nation. A nation is consisted of thousands and thousands of people, man. Okay, and we're gonna be popping babies like like no tomorrow, because that's our legacy, continuing on our legacy. See, here on this side, they're trying to cut off our legacy, man. They're trying to take the name of Israel out of remembrance. We're troubled on every side here. You see, but there's not going to be no trouble in the kingdom. All these nations are going to be in trouble because we are going to live forever. You see, the moment they see us coming around, man, these people just they're not even going to look up. They're going to be looking down. They're going to know what time it is when the men of the Lord, the true men, all right, the first fruits, the 144,000 at that, okay, they're going to fear. All right, and most of all, they're gonna fear Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because here they didn't have no fear of him. You see, they were doing whatever they wanted to do here and play the role of God, basically. You see, but in that time, ain't gonna be none of that. Okay, because the Lord's just gonna dead that real quick. You see, this is why the Lord did what he did, and he waited, because and we have to not avenge ourselves, because the vengeance is his. All right, and the Lord is going to allow us to eat with him, basically, meaning that he going to let us get ours, but first his. Okay, so going back to John 14:2, it says, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. You see? And whether I go, ye know the way, Slaka, and whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Okay. So at the end of the day, if it wasn't true, the Lord wouldn't have told us that, man. He wouldn't have told us to wait upon him. He would have just given it to him. Okay. I mean, he would have just given it to us. All right. But he didn't, because it was all part of prophecy. We had to go through these things, man, for us to receive these things. Okay. Just like the Lord Yahweh, all right, made his son go through what he had to go through. Okay. For him to be on the right hand side of the Lord, all right, of his father. All right. For him to receive, his blessing, basically, to rule over the nations. Okay. To have them all in subjection. You see? So, continuing on, let's go to, it's a lot of verses, a lot of scriptures to go to. Let's grab Lamentations. Okay. This is Lamentations 4 and give me 1 second. This is go to 21. It says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. Okay. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. All right. And this is talking about Esau. And this is why the Lord has exposed this devil on this side so heavy. Okay. Because he is about to fill up his cup now. You see? That same cup that was passed on to us, all right, is going to be passed on to him. Okay. And then it says, this is talking about us, Zion. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. All right. And this is why this is going to be the last captivity. You see, because we served, and it's already been seven different captivities we served, man. A complete number of captivities, which seven represents completion. Okay. So here it is. The Lord gave us a complete number of ass whoopings, man, for us going off already. And we have served basically our time. All right. And now the Lord is going to allow us to be free. All right. But see, he ain't going to free all of Israel, man. He's only going to take those that truly believe, the 1/3. All right. The rest have to learn by death and pain, and they have to come back in the kingdom with their head down. You see, because they didn't receive the love of the truth, man. All right. But they're going to eventually be good. They're going to wake up in the kingdom and come back through the loins of the elect. Right. And they're going to have to have their head down, but eventually it'll go away. All right. Because them coming through the loins of the elect, they're going to be made perfect again. Okay. It says, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. No one's going to be able to carry us no more into captivity. Okay. Because we're going to have all these different nations under subjection under YAHAWAH'S. Okay. It says, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Okay. So the point is, we're no longer going to have to go through any captivities. Okay. Matter of fact, let me grab Revelations 21. Right. Since the title is a new heaven and a new earth. All right. And that's what we want. All right. Where there dwelleth in righteousness. Okay. This says 21:1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Okay. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from power out of heaven. All right. And this is going to be right after we come off them chariots, man. Right after YAHAWAH destroys this place with thermonuclear missiles and resets this whole entire place. Okay. The elements and everything. You see, we're going to come off them chariots. All right. And we're going to be in a new heaven and a new earth where there dwells in righteousness. Okay. It says, coming down from power out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. You see, how beautiful did that sound, man? That we ain't got to go through none of that no more. Okay, these are burdens that are constantly upon our people on a daily basis here, man. You know, and what did the Lord say, man? Cast thy burdens upon the Lord. You see, because we believed in this word, because we believed in this truth, and we followed in the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. That was us casting the burdens upon the Lord, the things that the thoughts that were most heavy onto us. You know, we let the Lord deal with it. Okay. And we just believed and did what he told us and commanded us to do. And look what our reward was. You see, our reward was to not have to, wipe our tears anymore. We didn't have to see no more death. We don't have to feel no more sorrow. Okay. No more crying, no more pain. It says, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. You see, Yahushua gonna make every single thing new again. Okay, matter of fact, let me see what this word new goes into in the interlinear. Behold, I make all things new. So it says kainos, kainos.
Strong's G 2537. Kainos.
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 All right, it says Affinity. Well, let me see what that word is. Affinity, real quick. Spontaneous or natural liking or sympathy for someone or something. Okay. No, that's not what I want. Oh, it's not what I want. But it says kainos. It says as respects form. All right. Because yeah, the Lord's gonna have a certain type of respect for us, man. Okay. He has respect for his elect. See, he's not a respect of persons to the rest of this world, but he has a respect toward his elect. As a matter of fact, it tells you that in, I believe it's Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. Give me 1 second. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and like 17 around there. Give me 1 second. 9, 3 and 9. All right. And it says, this is actually, this is actually a beautiful chapter. Yeah, let me take it from the top. It says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise, they seemed to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. Yeah, we are in peace because we have the Prince of Peace with us, you see, because these scriptures and his word is the comforter. So that's what your true peace is. You see, that's the only peace we have here in this earth right now in this place of darkness, man, is this peace, this word. Okay. And by us keeping this word, holding fast to what we have, that no man snatch our crown. All right. We're going to actually receive true rest and peace in the kingdom. You see, it says, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace has he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. Okay, and that's why we're out on these highways and hedges, man, because we're presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. Okay, as a burnt offering unto the Lord. You see. It says, and in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. Okay. Having, spiritual power. It says they shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord Yahweh shall reign forever. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he has care for his elect. You see, he gonna always have constant care for us, man, at the end of the day. All right. So let's go back, okay, to this word kainos. All right. It says as respects form. Okay. Recently made, fresh, recent, unused. You see, when he said, I make all things new, all right, it's going to be unused, something that we never went through. Okay. Unworn. This is not, it ain't going to have no wear and tear on it. All right. This is going to be unworn. Okay. At the end of the day, it says, as respects substance of a new kind, unprecedented, novel, uncommon, unheard of, going back to what we have read, all right, yet greater things are hid, you know, that we can't basically imagine, man. You see, things of unheard of, the things that you would never, again, as brothers always say, you're not going to be able to fathom these things, man, because they're going to be unheard of. We're going to literally be in the kingdom like, yo, like, wow, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, yo, this is what the Lord is blessing us with. We can only kind of, think of these things, man. But you're not even gonna be close to what the Lord is gonna give us, man. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me grab this. What's that scripture I'm looking for? Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. First Corinthians 2:9, it says, eye has not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh has prepared for them that love him. Whew. You see? Then it says this verse speaks of the incredible, unseen, and unhearable blessings prepared by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. You know, we can kind of think about it. We can imagine what he gonna give us, but whatever you imagining, whatever you think the Lord is gonna give you, he gonna give you that 144 times better. You see? And imagine that, and we can't even imagine that far, man. That's why it should, hearing this word, this gospel, it should give you that boost of faith to want to go harder, for that prize, a prize that's never been heard of. You get a prize here on this side, man. It's some shit you don't heard about already. It's something that, it's something typical, something that you can imagine. I knew it would be something like that. But what the Lord has to offer for the reward is something that you can't even be like, you're gonna get something different. Matter of fact, every person is probably gonna get something different as a reward, man. We're all gonna get it to get the same as getting the kingdom, all right. But every man is gonna be rewarded according to his doings, man. You see, and according to his liking and to his desires. We all have different desires. So, as the Lord said, anything that you ask in my name, all right, that you desire, it shall be given unto you. Every man has his own mindset of what he wants. You see? That's beautiful. Okay? Call Elohim La Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? So it's gonna be things of things that are uncommon, unheard of. Okay, a new kind. You see? It says new, especially in freshness. Let me see what this G. That goes into Kainos goes into this.
Strong's G 3501. Neos.
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 Right? It says recently born, young, youthful, new. It's almost like we're gonna be young again. When you're young, anything that's given to you is just like wow. When you're young, when you're a kid, when you're in your youth, it's almost like we appreciate anything that's given to us, especially us as Israelites, because we don't got much, man. We don't get much on this side. So when something is given to us as a kid, you're just like, wow. As when you get older, you just like, you see the same shit over and over again. But when you're a kid and you're in your youth, anything that is given to you is a wow. That's how you're going to feel in the kingdom. Like that kid again, like a youthful child, a child in his youth. All right. Strong's definition goes into new example of persons, youthful. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're going to be youthful ourselves. The Lord going to give us the most beautiful thing, the changing our vile bodies, right, into the new glorious bodies that are going to be like unto Yahawashi. That's why we're going to look young again forever and ever. We ain't even going to worry about getting old. Imagine that. Shit, my back hurts. I wish I could have that new body right now. My sciatica killing me right now, man. I wish I could get a new body now to be able to, not worry about that pain. That is the most beautiful. That is one of the most beautiful rewards that the Lord is going to give us, man. Having brand new bodies again, and we're going to be young forever, while these other nations, they're going to live to die. You see? They're gonna just grow old and pass away. Is that not what we do now? You know, we're gonna have those bodies again, being gods, as the scripture says. You are like gods. Okay, we see we're not gonna be YAHAWAH'S, okay, but we are going to be gods, many gods again, okay. And to be many gods is having that perfect body. You see, and all these people out here late night. Okay, so we're gonna have, you know, a young body again. You know, that's never gonna perish. Is never gonna get old. You know, thousands and thousands of years are gonna pass by, and you're still gonna look that's youthful. You know, no wrinkles on your face. You know, on this side, you wake up with wrinkles every single day that you wake up out your damn sleep. You know when you wake up and your eyes is all wrinkly and you got cold coming out your eyes. You trying to wipe out the eye boogers and all that, and then for like the first 20 minutes, man, you look in the mirror, you just look like hell waking up out your sleep. You know, we're not gonna go through that no more, man. You're gonna have a brand new face every single day, okay? And as a matter of fact, it's gonna almost feel like it's reversed. Instead of you getting older day by day, you're gonna be getting younger day by day. Imagine that. You see? So it says youthful or of things fresh, regenerate. You know, remember, you know, this is the last reincarnation, you know, but being youthful every single day of your life is going to be like, it's almost going to be like the Lord is renewing you day by day, you know, regenerating you every single day that you wake up, you know, to be programmed to just stay young forever and ever and ever, you know. So let's go back to that scripture. It says 21:5 in Revelation. It says, and he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. Okay, and we believe it 100%, man. Okay, it says, and he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all these things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Okay, and we don't want to be partakers of that, man. As the scriptures say, there is no glory in that second death, man. To go into the lake of fire, man, and to come back into the kingdom, okay, with your head down is horrible. All right, you're gonna miss all the action. You're gonna miss YAHAWAH'S taking these nations and putting them under subjection. Okay, you're gonna miss, you know, the elect enjoying that. You see, you're gonna miss all the good stuff. You know, you're just gonna come back and hey, yeah, you're gonna eventually be good, man. But again, you want to see those that really believe, want to see YAHAWAH'S take over this place, man, because that's our power, man, and that's who we believed in, and we want to see what we believed in happen. Okay. Matter of fact, that's the scripture where it says, what is that? Ecclesiastes 23, I believe. Ecclesiastes 23. And give me 1 second. I know it's around here. Might be 24 or 25. There. Yep, 25:7. There be 9 things. Okay, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, And the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. We can't wait to see that, man. Because he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy is going to see YAHAWAH'S, all right, put his enemies into subjection, man. All right. And then by him doing that, all right, he's going to be able to exalt the elect for believing. And then he going to give us some. He going to give us a little bit of that, to be able to put their asses into subjection. You see? That's something that it makes YAHAWAH'S happy. Let's read it again. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, man. That's heavy right there. All right. So let's go back to 21. Okay, and let me see what else is here. Salakia. Let me keep reading. It says, and there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride and the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from power, all right, having the glory of Yahweh, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Okay. It says, on the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that had with me had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. And the city lieth 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof, and 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man that is of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold. Whew! Imagine that, man. The city being with pure gold, man. That talks about that in Tobit. All right. How everything that we have is going to be built with gemstones. See, I make necklaces, I make staffs. So I'm already one that's fascinated with gemstones, and I didn't even know I had that talent until I came into this truth, because you go back to your roots. So I probably, Lord willing, if I am one of those men, probably in the ancient world, I was dealing with all types of gemstones, man. You see, making necklaces for brothers and all that. And when I see these gemstones that I deal with, all right, which they're not even in their purity, man, because we're here in Babylon the Great. We're here in this place where this world is diminishing. Okay, the earth itself is constantly crying onto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. Okay, but imagine in those times, man, when all the elements of the earth are going to be resetted, how our gemstones are really going to look like, how they're really going to have them healing properties. Okay, which you can't go off with that, with them healing properties, because you got a lot of people that they actually use them for wickedness, because all healing comes up Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But best believe the Lord has grabbed gemstones. He has put gemstones on this earth for us to have certain healing properties to it, and it goes hand in hand with us, because we are Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's chosen people, man. So it does certain things with us. But imagine one of my favorite is amethyst purple. You know, imagine what a real amethyst stone is going to look like in those days, man. Whew. You know, your actual homes are going to be built not with bricks and stones, you know, and made out of wood, okay, and sheetrock. Okay, it's going to be made out of actual gemstones. You see, that's fire right there. That's something to look forward to. Okay, instead of you sitting here looking at these brick damn buildings that you got in front of you. All right, you sitting there in these. The Lord said the streets are going to be paved with gold. Everywhere I drive my car is a shitty bumpy ass ride because Esau has destroyed the earth with all the streets and all this damn asphalt that he puts down. You know, that's cracking all over the place, creating potholes. You ain't gonna have no potholes in the kingdom. You know, it's gonna be made out of gold. It's gonna be solid, flat. You know, that's something to look forward to instead of looking forward to this shitty ass place we live in, man. Right? So it says in the building of the wall of it, Salaka, and the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. Look at that, man. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, I believe that's how you say it, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th an amethyst. All right, and which basically those all go into the representation of the 12 tribes. All right, the stone that goes to each tribe. You know, the same exact ones that you see on the ephod, man. All right, when the brothers wear their garments, all right, it has the 12 stones on it. That's what it's a representation of. You see, it says, and 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, and it was transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord YAHAWAH'S power almighty. All right, Salakia. Oh, Salakia, let me rephrase that. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Yahweh Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Okay. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Whew. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it, and there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. You see, who will not want to be part of that? Someone that don't believe. But see, we believe. So, Lord willing, you know, each and one of you brothers, you know, that listen to these lessons, you know, the few sisters, you know, that you are a part of that, man. I pray for each and one of y'all in sincerity and truth that those that truly believe receive that reward, man. You know, let's go to Tobit, right? Because the same thing is said in Tobit. This is Tobit, I believe it's in the 13th chapter. Mm-hmm. Let's take it from 9. Yeah, it says, O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy children's works, and will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous. Give praise to the Lord Yahawashi, for he is good, and praise the everlasting King, that his tabernacle may be builded in thee again with joy, and let him make joyful therein thee those that are captives, and love in thee forever those that are miserable. Many nations shall come from far to the name of the Lord Yahweh with gifts in their hands, even gifts to the King of heaven. All generations shall praise thee with great joy. Cursed are all they which hate thee, and blessed shall all be which love thee forever. Rejoice and be glad for the children of the just, for they shall be gathered together, and shall bless the Lord Yahushua of the just. O blessed are they which love thee, for they shall rejoice in thy peace. Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all thy scourges, for they shall rejoice for thee when they have seen all thy glory, and shall be glad forever. Let my soul bless Yahweh, the great King. All right. For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stones, thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold. And the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir. Okay, going into what? The gold. All right. And the Lord's gonna make us, all right, the tabernacle that are of men, all right. As the scriptures say, he's gonna make a man more precious than fine gold. You see, they go hand in hand. Men of gold are gonna be in a golden city. Man, it says, and all her streets shall say Alleluia, and they shall praise him, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, which has extolled it forever. Okay. Man, if you don't want to be part of that, man, there's something wrong with you. At the end of the day, man. Okay, because here in Babylon the Great, all right, let's grab this. Okay, this is Hebrews 13. Okay. Mm, 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 mm. Let's take it from 12. Point is at 14. Hebrews 13 and 12. Wherefore Yahushua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. See, there's no continuing city here. You see, that's why we look forward to these things, man, because there is no continuing city here. You see, but in the kingdom, that's a city that's going to continue forever. So why would you want to stay here and try to set up a kingdom here? These people that don't believe are trying to set up a kingdom here when the Lord has a place prepared for us. You see, they want to be like Esau, man, setting up all types of stupid ass bullshit, man, that's not going to last forever. The Lord said, let's grab this real quick. In Matthew 24 and 1, okay, it says, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. See, here it is. They trying to build up a city here, okay? But the Lord's about to destroy this place. So what is you trying to set up shop for over here, man? When the Lord has a place prepared for you, all right? A place of gemstones, man, a place of gold. You know, if that ain't bugged out, I don't know what is. Okay. So again, 13 and 14 in Hebrews, for here we have no continuing city. Okay, we don't have a permanent home here, but we seek one to come. Let me see what it says for a continuing city. Mm. No, I didn't say much. That's cool. All right. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. I just see something. Hold on. We don't have a continuing city, right? In the Strong's definitions, it says to stay in a given place, state, relation, or expectancy. This place, its life expectancy here is nothing, is garbage. All right, is made to die off. Okay, but in the kingdom to come, all right, we're not gonna die. Nothing's gonna die. So that city is gonna be a continuing city forever and ever. You see? Let's grab a couple more scriptures, and I'll pretty much end it through the spirit. All right. Let's grab. Let's grab. I'm trying to think. Let's grab Matthew. All right. As a matter of fact, instead of Matthew, I'll grab it in Luke. This is Luke 12 and 1 second. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, it's around here. Yeah, this is let's take it from Luke 12 and let's take it from 27. It says 26. It says, if ye then be not able to do that thing which is least, why take ye thought for the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then Yahweh so clothed the grass, which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye little of faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye doubtful, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after. And your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things, but rather seek ye the kingdom of Yahweh, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You see? Man, just hearing those words, man, is a beautiful thing. You know? The Lord gonna give you the kingdom, the pleasures of the kingdom for you being that good and faithful servant. That's what we want to hear when the Lord returns back, man. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Okay? It says, sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags with which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. You see? So where your treasure is, that's where you're gonna set your mind on, man. Going to what? Colossians. Let's grab that real quick. Colossians 1. Is it 1 or 3? Yeah, it's 1 and 3 and 2. Okay. I'll take it from the top. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh. Set your affection on the things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Okay. You see, when Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. You see? That's why you have to set your affections on the things above, man. Because when Yahweh shall come back in due time, he will exalt you. Okay? You're going to be partakers in what's to come with him. And what better is that, man? that you're actually going to be able to enjoy it with YAHAWAH'S. All right. Let's grab let me grab Isaiah. All right, this is Isaiah. Isaiah 11:4. It says, but with righteousness, actually, let's take it from 5. It says, and righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. How beautiful is that, man? Your children are going to be able to play with these animals in the kingdom, man. You know, running around with any type of whatever's the most dangerous animal on earth. All right. Your children are going to be able to run around with them, play with them. You know, you're going to be able to leave your children in one planet and you can go explore another planet and not worry about your children being taken away, you know, your children being robbed as a spoil, you know. You don't have to worry about none of that. In this place, man, you even leave your child around for 2 seconds, he can get snatched up, okay? And this side, for your wickedness, all right, according to Leviticus, all right, the Lord said that he will take your children and rob your children through animals, man. You know, he might send teeth of wild beast upon them, okay, and just they'll rob them, take them, gone. You'll never see your kid again. You see that all the time, man. You know, big ass anaconda come and take your child, and next thing you know, he in his damn belly. You know, or a lion come by and see a little one, and that's it. He gone. That's meat. But in the kingdom, they're gonna be able to play with them, man. They're going to be able to do whatever they want with these animals, man. They're going to lead these animals. They're going to have dominion over them again. Just like in the beginning, you know, we were able to have dominion over animals, but the Lord had took that away from us. Okay? It says, and the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den. You see? So you're gonna have our children playing with poisonous snakes like nothing, like without a care in the world, man. Swinging them around like they some Tarzans or something. You know, man, that's beautiful. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of knowledge of the Lord Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day shall there be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Okay. So, hey, man, that's beautiful right there, man. Okay. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of knowledge. You know, and the earth itself is going to go back to being the way it used to be, man. All right. When you read Isaiah, the 14th chapter, right? Let's go to that real quick. Verse 7. All right. It tells you, let's grab it from, let's take it from 5. 14 to 5. It says, the Lord Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and how you say this word? The scepter. All right. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. Or the scepter, right? It says, and the scepter of the rulers, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. All right. And we can't wait till the Lord take this devil out, because he destroys the earth, man, to the point where the earth is constantly mourning unto the Lord, man. Along with us, you see, the animals are mourning unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The earth is mourning unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The trees, the plants, because everything here is dying, man. Because this devil is one to take peace from the earth. Okay. It says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. You see? That's man, that's crazy that the earth is crying on to the Lord, man, and they're gonna sing and rejoice when this devil's taken out the way, basically saying that since no fella has come up against us, all right, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us. Once it's taken out of the way, let me see what it says in the NLT. It says, since you have been cut down, no one will come now to cut us down. Because what does Esau do, man? Esau just destroys everything that's in his path and poisons it, man. So he see a bunch of trees. He's like, okay, let me cut these trees down and build something there. Do you understand that the trees give you oxygen? That's why the earth, that's why the oxygen of the earth is horrible, man. Because you got Esau that's constantly cutting down your oxygen source, man. Cutting down these trees. Then on top of that, he throwing all these damn, trails in the sky. Them sea trails. Okay? So here it is. He's taking away the oxygen, but then he feeding you barium and aluminum, with his little planes. Make it make sense. You see? That's heavy. Let's see. Let me grab Isaiah. Says I'm in Isaiah 9. All right, I'm about to wrap it up. This is Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. All right, which this is Yahushua, right? And the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. All right, which that's talking about Yahushua. Okay, because Yahushua is like a father unto us also. You see? He not trying to, say that he's above Yahweh, but he is also a father unto us, man. You see? It says, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. Whoo! You see? Matter of fact, let me read that in the NLT before I read it in the KJV. It says his government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord Yahweh of heaven's armies will make this happen. Okay? KJV says, of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it, to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord Yahweh of hosts will perform this. You see? And that's what we wait for, man. We're patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai, man, to bring this place down. Okay? Let me grab I'll grab this last one. Let me grab Isaiah 54 and I call it a wrap. All right. This is hold on real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm just reading it. This is Isaiah 54, and I'll take it from 7. Matter of fact, I'll take it from 6. It says, "For the Lord Yahweh has called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou was refused, saith thy power. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord Yahweh, that has mercy on thee. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires, and I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord Yahweh, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall by they for thy sake. You see? And that's pretty much the point, man. All right. I should have stopped at 1 up. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee, man. Okay, at the end of the day, the Lord is going to bring that peace that we all are waiting for, man. And man, it can't get no better than that. You see, it cannot get any better than what the Lord has to offer us, man. All right. Everything that's given to us, man, that's about to be given to us, that we're patiently waiting for, is going to be something way farther than you've ever expected. All right. Matter of fact, I'll leave it with this. This is actually a beautiful one to end it with. This is Isaiah 61, right? This is Isaiah 61 and 1. The Spirit of the Lord Yahweh is upon me, because the Lord Yahweh has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. And this is the good news. This is the good gospel we're giving you, man. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. All right. And we are those captives living in those those everlasting chains of darkness, this body. Okay. It says to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord Yahweh, and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord Yahweh, that he might be glorified. You see? And that's what we come to preach, man. There's great tidings. There's good tidings from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. This is the good news. This is that gospel you really want to hear, that gospel of peace. You see, it can't get any better than that. All right. So, A, to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, you will edify. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening up. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was up edifying. So with that being said, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Shalom.